Hi guys, we are going to start this webinar, this Mimacom webinar about how to migrate Liferay from a community edition to an enterprise edition. So welcome everybody. I really hope that you enjoyed this webinar. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Alberto Martinez Ballesteros. I work at Mimacom from the office at Spain. Probably you have noticed already that because of my funny accent. But I work from an office at Spain, at the very north of Spain, in Asturias, Gijón. That it's a wonderful place to visit this summer if you don't have any other plans. As I said before, my name is Alberto, and here you have my contact information, my Twitter account, and my email account. And if you need contact with me with some question, with wherever you can contact me in this with these methods. So today we are talking about how to migrate a Liferay portal from a community edition to a enterprise edition. I First of all I would like to talk a little bit about how are we going to do this kind of jobs, this kind of migrations, and finally I will show you a little demo about a migration with some portal that I have created for this webinar. It's a simple one, and I know that it's probably is very different of your portal because there are no all the portals are different actually, and it's very difficult to give some information specific for the portals in the world. So I have created a simple one, and I think and I hope really that this is useful to know the steps that you are going to follow when you need to migrate your portal. So we are going to start with probably the first question that can go to your mind at this moment. That is why I should go with this migration. I mean, why I should migrate my community edition portal that probably is running properly for a new version from a new portal now in the enterprise edition. I don't have the answer for this question because probably you know better than me why you need to do this kind of migration. I will have I will have my reasons for do the job. Probably you will have your own reasons, but there is no universal reason for do this kind of migrations. I have selected some of these possible reasons about why I do this migration, but this is only a couple of reasons that comes to my mind when I start to prepare this webinar. One of the main reasons that the people uh, use uh, to to migrate his portal to an enterprise edition is because of the support service of Liferay. You know that if you are using a enterprise edition, you will have access to the Liferay support service, and you will be able to open issues or bugs or wherever, and you will have a solution. Probably you will have a solution for your problem in a quick time. Another different reason about this support service is because you will find some new features with an enterprise edition. If you browse the Liferay marketplace, you will find some plugins, for example, that only works for the enterprise edition. Sorry. For example, you will find this Kaleo Web Designer or some other plugins, some other portlets that only works for enterprise edition. I don't know exactly the number of plugins that only works in this version, but I sure there are some of them. The same thing happens with new tools. You will have access to some new tools. For example, the Liferay Developer Studio. If you are using a community edition, you will not have access to this tool in order to develop for Liferay portal platform. But if you are a subscriber user, you will have access to this tool. For Community Edition, I think that you have a plugin for Eclipse, but it's not the whole Liferay developer studio. And also for enterprise users, Liferay provides access to the customer portal. From this customer portal, you will be able to download all the Liferay versions or plugins, patches, and you will find lots of information for these customers. Probably if you have uh, start using the enterprise edition, or you are already a subscriber, you will know this customer portal, all the benefits that you will find on it. And probably one of the most important things being an enterprise user is the immediately access to hot fixes, fix packs, service packs, and the most important thing, the security updates of Liferay. You know that if you open an issue in the Liferay for the Liferay support at the Lisa, or if Liferay release some service packs or some fix packs or whatever, you will find all of these things in the customer portal, and you will be able to download and install on your portal. And in addition, you will have the support of Liferay engineers in order to deploy all these things if you are facing some problems or wherever. So maybe the most important topic here is that if we are working with Liferay portal, if we have a portal production on live, and the portal is some part of the core of our company, probably we will want some kind of support with with quick answers to our doubts and to our problems, to some fixes to our bugs, and all these things are easy to find in the enterprise edition. For other situations, the community edition is a very good one because Liferay community is huge. You will find lots of support in the community, in the forums, and in a lot of places. So it's really good. Also the community edition, but you won't have access to some features, tool, or some services that enterprise edition provides. So if we are, if at this moment, if we know that we want a Liferay Enterprise Edition, the first thing that we need to think is how I'm going to start. What is the first thing that I need to start with a migration? Yeah, I have a suggestion here. I think that this is a very good start. I mean, it's not important here what kind of coffee do you prefer. It can be only coffee, just coffee, or a cappuccino, latte macchiato, whatever. But I think that it's a very good thing. It's not important just for this kind of projects, for this migration. I think that a coffee is important for every kind of projects. And also I think that if you don't like coffee, a tea, or a chocolate, or whatever, is a good start. And once we have our coffee, the second thing we are going to need is a little bit of calm, patience, good luck. This is not different for other projects because these are good skills for any project. But I think that they are really important here in this kind of project. Basically, because if we are technical people, we like innovation. We love to do new things, to find new challenges, and these kinds of projects can become a little bit boring because we are not creating a new thing. We are just working for have the same thing that we had before. So maybe we need a little bit of patience here, not because it's not a difficult process as you will see. It's really easy, but it can be different to any kind of projects in which we are we find more challenges that in this kind of projects. So be patient and good luck, my friend. Then strictly thinking about Liferay, we will need some themes. We will need all the involved Liferay's version for our migration. In this webinar, we will see an example about how to migrate from a Liferay 6.1 community edition to Liferay 6.2 in Enterprise Edition. So our involved versions here are Liferay 6.1 Community Edition, Liferay 6.1 Enterprise Edition, and Liferay 6.2 Enterprise Edition. If we are only changing our version from a CE from a EE, I'm you know, with CE I mean Community Edition and EE I mean Enterprise Edition. If we only need to change from CE to EE, we will only need these two versions. For example, Liferay 6.2 Community Edition, that it's our current portal, and Liferay 6.2 Enterprise Edition, that it's our goal, our target here. The versions involved here will be different depending on which kind of migration we are doing. As you can see, if we are only changing for CE to E, we will only need these two versions: our current version and the same version in the EE for enterprise. But if we want also to, in addition to this process, if we want to jump, go ahead for a new version of Liferay, we will need also this version. And this will be different depending also depending on our target, our goal version. If we are going to migrate to the last stable version here, that is Liferay 6.2, we will only need our current version in EE and the Liferay 6.2 Enterprise Edition. But if we are going if we are going to migrate to a different version, for example, from a Liferay 5.6.0 to a 6.1 GA3, probably we will need more versions, because before Liferay 6.2, for this kind of migrations, we needed all the previous existing versions. For example, Liferay 6.0, 6.0 GA1 and GA2, and then Liferay 6.1 GA1 and GA2 and GA3. So probably our steps will be more steps that if we are going to migrate to Liferay 6.2. Things nowadays we will only need our final version and our start version. It's really easy with Liferay 6.2. Another thing that we are going to need is a backup of our portal. This is just in case we expect not using it, but it's a very, 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 and a lot of very, very good idea to have this backup, because we can find any kind of problem. We will need maybe to roll back to our initial version. We don't know what could happen with our in this process. So it's a very good idea to have a backup of our portal. Afterwards, in the demo, I will show you also how to roll back to our first initial version, which is a really easy task in these projects. Obviously, we are going to need access to our environment. Um, it doesn't depend on which environments we are migrating. We can migrate our live environment or our, I don't know, pre-production or developers environment. We will need access to this environment. You will be sure that you must be sure that you will have access to your database and your file system probably, and your document library, and all the things that are going to be involved in this migration. I basically recommend to migrate non the less important environments in the first step, and then go to production, and just for do it in a safety way. And the last thing that we forget most of the time is the license. If we are used to work with a community edition, we are not worried about licenses or whatever, but with enterprise edition, we will need our final license to start working with our portal. We can go to the end to our migration. We have success with the migration, but if we don't have a license and we can deploy the license in our portal, we are not having access to our portal. So it's a really important thing to have the license for the enterprise edition. You know that you can try with a trial license or wherever, but this kind of licenses have some limitation, and we are not able to use it in a production environment. So how are we going to migrate our CE to our EE? I like to split here two different branches when we start with this kind of migration. There is a automatic process that is the migration of the database and the documents, and it's something that we can do automatically because Liferay has some scripts in charge of do this job. And then we need in a second step, or maybe in a simultaneous step, because we can do both things at the same time, we need to migrate our plugins, our development. We don't need to migrate Liferay plugins, obviously, because these plugins comes with the new version, but we need to migrate all the developments of the developments that we did for our portal. I mean, if you have developed some portlets or some hooks or your theme, you will need to migrate it in order to deploy in the Liferay Enterprise Edition. This is not true at all, because if we are only moving from a CE to an EE, Liferay API actually doesn't change. So our plugins we are going to deploy our plugins in the new version, but it's really important to test it before deploy it in production. It's a very, very clever thing if we deploy our plugins in our previous environment, like development environments or pre-production, and we test that everything works as expected. On the other hand, if we are moving from Liferay, for example, 6.1 CE to a 6.2 EE, in this case, we are going to need to change some aspects of our plugins because Liferay EE had changed and we had new methods and new things. So first of all, we are going to start with the easiest process here, that is the migration of the database and the documents. As I told you before, this is an automatic process, so it's really easy to do this thing. The first thing that we need to do here is have the new Liferay version, the enterprise version of our portal, and point this new version to our previous database. I mean, you will need to set up your enterprise portal to point to the database that were in use with your community edition portal. It's a very good idea here to install all the existing patches and all the things that Liferay provides for the enterprise version you are using now, because some of these patches can be related to some automatic process for this migration. So it's really useful to deploy these patches at this moment. And the last thing that you need, if you are not only migration from CE to EE, if you are doing this migration for a newer version of Liferay, you will need to repeat steps 1 and 2 for all the versions involved. In our case, in the case of our demo, we need to do it again, these steps 1 and 2 for Liferay to get our target of Liferay 6.2. So imagine you have here your portal. So your first step is to go with your portal to the enterprise edition. Now you have here your brand new portal that is the same portal that you had before, but now in an enterprise edition. And once you have this process finished, you will need to migrate to your goal version, for example, Liferay 6.2, and you will have your awesome brand new and updated portal. Here is everything. You don't need anything else. So we can do this in an opposite way. We can go with our community edition 6.1 to the community edition of 6.2 and finally migrate to the enterprise edition of 6.2. But I think that it's a better idea to do in this way, in the way you can see in the slide, because you will find Liferay support from the very early start of your process. In the same moment you decide to migrate to enterprise edition, you will find Liferay support, and it's very useful. So I think that it's the best way to do this process. Because imagine that you are migrating in the first step from Liferay 6.1 CE to 6.2 CE. Maybe here you will find some problems, and you are not going to find the patches you need, because there are no these patches for community edition, and everything become a little bit more complicated. So I think that is the first step. The very first step is to migrate to the enterprise edition, and then go ahead with the final version, our target version. And if we are when we need to migrate also our plugins, if we are going to the newer version of Liferay, the steps are simpler than the previous one, because we don't need to update our plugins for all the version, for the enterprise edition of our previous version, and then for the last version. No, we don't need these things. We only need to migrate our plugins to our goal version. So we have here our plugins. We go directly to the goal version, to our target version here, and we will find our awesome and brand new updated plugins without the previous step. And how I should do this kind of job? Okay. The first thing that we need here is to update our project dependencies. I mean, if we work with Maven or Gradle, or if we are using the Liferay SDK or Liferay Developer Studio or whatever, we will need to point our Liferay version to our target version. Imagine you are using Maven, so you will need to define your dependencies for in your portlets, in your components, in all your plugins to the Liferay 6.2, in this case for the Liferay 6.2 version. And then you only need to follow the red line, but follow the red line is not also a easy task. We will find some problems in some cases, but it is just a matter of time. Here it's a very positive thing if we are the original developers of our company, have developed the original portlets, because we are going to know how it works and how we need to expect to works at the end of the process. But what is the red line for us? It's very easy. It's a kind of standard. It doesn't care if you use IntelliJ IDEA or Eclipse, but we also find this red line here with the red line here with the errors or in your plugins. So I think that this is the most important thing. We need to try to compile our plugins with the new version, and as fast as we find some problems in the compilation or whatever, we will need to solve these problems, because sometimes Liferay API changes and a method that in the previous versions need 3 parameters, now it need only 2, or a method that we were using doesn't exist anymore, or things like that. So we will need to find these problems and find the solution for them. For example, I don't know if you remember the Liferay's 5 dot whatever version, that they have different, they make a difference between image gallery and document live and the documents gallery. And when we go to Liferay 6.1 and these new versions of Liferay, they join the two things in just one thing. The document library and the image gallery become the, I think that is the multimedia gallery, or I don't remember now exactly the name. But we needed to change our code here, because if we were accessing to images using the image gallery, now that didn't work anymore, and we needed to update our code to access to the new document system and all these things. And this will happen also if you are migrating to Liferay 6.2, because there are some changes in the way in which the CMS of the content management system of Liferay is defined. So it's really important to take your coffee, take your patient here, and start fixing all these problems. And now I suppose that you want to see this demo. I think that this is not always a very good idea to do this kind of demos, because they are a little tricky. Now at this moment I'm going to migrate from a Liferay 6.1 to a Liferay 6.2 in 15 minutes, but this is really, it's very far of the real projects. If we are working with our project, probably we will need more than 15 minutes and more than 1 week and probably around 1 month to finish our migration, to pass all our tests, and to be sure that our new portal is ready to go live. But now this is only a demo, and as I said before, it's a little bit tricky, but it's useful, I think, and I hope to know the steps that you will need to follow in this process. Anyway, in this demo, I'm not migrating code. I'm not using customized components. I'm not using any third-party portlet or hook or wherever. I'm only using what goes out of the box with a Liferay portal, because I think that every development are different from the others, and it has no sense that I start here to migrate one development that probably has nothing in common with your own development. So I think that it's a kind of waste of time, and I decide not to do it because it's I don't think it's really useful. All of us knows how to understand our IDE messages and how to fix the problems that it shows. So I have here a little demo. It's pre-recorded because I noticed that it's very difficult to make these things and talk at the same time, at least for me. So I decided to record previously this demo. So here we go. The first thing you are seeing here, just a minute. I go to, okay. Okay. So we are migrating here from a Liferay 6.1 to a Liferay 6.2. So we are in the first of all, we are going to start the Liferay 6.1 portal. Here you can see our Portilex properties. It's really simple. It has the connection to our database, and then some custom configurations for our portlets, such as our thumbnails configurations, access to the service locator from Velocity, and disable the custom pages for users. And finally, we will find here also we have disabled some unnecessary filters that we are not using just for performance, So the first thing, as I said before, is to start our portal. We are seeing here the log of the start log of our portal, and it will take just some seconds because this is not the first time I run this portal. I have worked with this portal before. I have created some content and some things just for this demo. As you can see here, it's using the MySQL connection that we define in the Portilex properties. And now here you can see how this portal at this moment is a Liferay 6.1.2 community edition. So it's running now. It have just finished, and here we are going to access to our portal. You can see it's a really simple portal. We have some contents. I'm going to access to the control panel in order to assure that which version of Liferay are we using. You can find this information at the server administration section, and here you can see that we are using, as we saw before, a Liferay portal community edition 6.1.2. And here we go. Here we have our portal with a home page and a blog with some blog entries here. I think that there are 3 or 4 blog entries. I have. You can see that this is the most awesome blog you have ever seen. It's a really really good one. Yeah. I know. So I have Migrate some blog entries for our Mimacom blog at Mimacom blog.mimacom.com. When I say migrate, I meaning I copy and paste some entries from our blog. Here you can see how it works with if we can select contents by tags. We have related content. That entry was related to this document, and or also in the reverse way, the document with the blog entry. And here is our document library with some images and some PDFs and some things that you can find. So the the next thing here is, well, at this moment we only have one user, that is the user that we are currently using, the test user, and we are going to migrate this portal to the 6.2 version in enterprise edition. As I said before, I think that the best step here is to start the migration with going to the enterprise edition of the same version. So now we are unzipping here the Liferay 6.1 enterprise edition. This is going to be our first step. You can see here that I'm doing all these things from the terminal. This is not because I'm a geek. I mean, this is not only because I'm a geek. It's also because most of the times we don't have a user interface to access to our server. So this is I think that this is the more similar way to do this demo to our final process if we need to migrate our current portal. So the next thing we need here is to copy our Portilex properties of the community edition to this enterprise edition, as you know, for the database access and our customizations and thumbnails and filters and all these things. Then we will need to copy, and this is very important, we will need to copy also our document library. Here is within the folder data document library. So we copy all the content of this folder to our data folder in the new version, in the community, in the enterprise edition version. And finally, we need to deploy our license in the deploy folder. We're using here the standard configuration of Liferay, and this is because we have our documents in data, our auto deploy folder is the deploy, and all these things. And as you can see, this is a really easy process. We have copied all these things, and we are starting now the new version of Liferay detects that it's working from a new version, and here is detecting the database as it did in the previous version. And after that, we will be able to see how we are using the enterprise edition of Liferay 6.1. It has detected that this is a new version, so it launched this verify process that in order to know that everything is as expected. And now here you can see that we are now running a 6.1.30 enterprise edition Liferay portal. So it will finish Okay, here the startup process has just finished, and you can see here how the license has been detected. So we can go now to our portal, and you are also seeing the same thing because there are no difference between the 6.1 EE and the CE. If we go to the control panel in order to be sure about this thing, we are seeing here that we are using a Liferay Portal Enterprise Edition 6.1.30. And it's a very important step here to reindex all our search indexes, because we have copied the document library, but we have not copied the losing indexes. So one of the first things we need to do is to re-index the whole portal in order to get everything working properly. Now we are seeing here that our document and media are here and our blogs entries are also here, and we can browse our portal and we will find our awesome blog with the awesome blog entries here, and the functionalities and all the features works as before, with the related document, with the related entries, and with all the things that we had in the previous versions. And as you can see, it's almost the same thing. There are not a big difference between our previous version and this one. At this moment, we are working with an enterprise edition, so we are able to deploy new components that we have not before, but at the end, if we are not using these components, all the things will be the same. So we are stopping now our portal, and we are going to migrate it to the Liferay 6.2 Enterprise Edition. In order to do that, the first thing that we will need is to unzip our Liferay bundle. You can use another things and not the bundle. You can use the war file or whatever, but in order to get our goal version, I think that it's easier if we use Liferay bundles, and then we can deploy it as a standalone war or whatever we need. So here, the first step here is to copy the Portilex properties that we are inherit from our 6.1 Enterprise Edition. We will need to copy also our license in the deploy folder, and we are needing here also the document library with all the documents that we had in our previous version. So we are going to copy the document library at the data folder, and we are copying it from the Liferay 6.1 Enterprise Edition to this 6.2 Enterprise Edition. We need to forget about Liferay Community Edition because it doesn't exist anymore. We have migrated to Enterprise Edition. If we are going to a 6.2 version, there is an important configuration that we need to add at the Portilex properties, that is this related to the way in which Liferay are going to deal with the passwords of the users, because this had changed in Liferay 6.2. So in order to log in our portal, it's very important to define this password encryption algorithm legacy to SHA, that it's the algorithm that was in use in our previous versions. So once we have add this configuration at Portilex properties, we can go to the startup process of our portal. This is the unreal thing in this demo, because if we are working with 100 or some millions of contents and documents, this is not going a 15 minutes process. This is going to be a really longer process. But as I said before, this is a little bit tricky because this is a demo and we don't have 1 month for the demo. So now we are seeing that it detects the MySQL database as always, and now it's launching the upgrade process to Liferay 6.0. Now it detects Liferay Portal Enterprise Edition 6.2.10, and it's upgrading the database with the database scripts and the document library and everything. Create the necessary indexes here, and this process could be very long if we have lots of data in our database, in our file system, or in our portal in general. Now it's deploying the license here, and in a few seconds we are going to be able to start to log in our new 6.2 brand new portal. You can see here it's running more scripts for Calio. In this case, we have some hooks also that we hadn't in our previous version, because all these things comes with the enterprise edition for Liferay 6.2. And now we are going to browse this new version. Now, as far as Liferay 6.2 has lots of change with Liferay 6.1, we can see how it behaves different, how everything is different here. The login window is different than the previous version, and the control panel is also different from the previous version. Now this is a Liferay 6.2. We are entering the control panel in order to be sure about that, but I think that the look and feel it's different, and you can trust me if I tell you that this is the Liferay 6.2 version. Here we have it, Liferay Portal Enterprise Edition 6.2.10, and as in the previous case, we will need to reindex all of our data index searches for the database and documents and all the things. We have our user here, and we can browse the portal, and we will see the same things with maybe with some difference in the look and feel of the project and of the portal, because we are using the classic theme, and the classic theme is different in this version, but the features and the functionalities are exactly the same. All the navigation by tags and the related documents and related blog entries, and everything works as before. And here is our document library. It's loading. Here we go, and you can see that we have our images and our PDFs and all the documents that we had in the previous version. So we can also browse all these things using the administration user interface. And that is what we are doing here. You can see that everything is the same. We have the new features. For example, we are now leveraging the new features of Liferay 6.2. For example, this thing about responsive design, and you can see here how our portal is working with a smartphone or with a tablet, and we can see that everything works different. And now we are noticing that we are really leveraging the power of Liferay 6.2. So I think that it's a really good thing to migrate to the last Liferay version. If we are going to migrate from CE to EE, we can do also the migration to the last version of Liferay. Now we are going to recover our first version. Imagine that our process has failed. It was a not successful process, and we need to roll back to Liferay 6.1 Enterprise Edition, because it's the only thing. Sorry, I was having a mistake. And before this thing, we are going to patch our version. I forgot about it, but it's a really important step here, that it's to update our portal with the last patches of the platform. So I'm going to set up the patching tool with the auto discovery here. I have very standard bundle here, so it's the auto discovery is running properly, and then I'm going to install the patches. As you see before in the previous steps, I update to the last version of the patching tool, and I copy the patches to the patches folder. So now I'm installing all the patches with the install target, and I'm going to update also our components with the update plugins target. And now our portal is now patched with all the patches that are released at this moment. You can see here all the information of our patching tool. At this moment, we only have the Portal 51 6210 patch installed because the previous one was included in this, and we have a stable version, and with all the things that we need to be sure about our portal has all the things that we need. We are running again the portal, but we are not going to browse all the portal because we know that everything is going to run to work properly. If you don't know it, you can trust me with this because it's the same browsing of the portal again. But it's important to run to go with the startup process, to notice that everything works as expected, that there is no new problems, no new errors, and all these things. It's very, very important to do this job not in our live environment, as you can imagine, but doing it in our previous environments. So here we go with our portal. You can see that in this moment there is no upgrading processes, not verifying processes, no anything that goes before, because in this case we are just running our portal for the second time, and it was uh, we have not changed the version from the previous running. We have also applied some patches. So this is our portal. Now it's with all the patches, and as you can see, everything it's working. So now I will not lie you again that we are going to roll back to our enterprise, to our community edition project in Liferay 6.1. Imagine because the process has failed, or wherever, or because Liferay 6.2 Enterprise Edition is not what we expected, or wherever, and we need to roll back to our initial version. I had a backup of our at this moment, I will going to back up the current database with Liferay 6.2, because if I don't know, if tomorrow or next week or next month I want to go again to Liferay 6.2 Enterprise Edition, it's going to be very easy if we had the backup at this moment and a snapshot of the database at this moment, because we are we will only need to recover the database, restore the database, and everything is working as expected. So I have now the copy of the database in the Liferay 6.2 Enterprise Edition version, and now I'm going to restore the previous database with Liferay 6.1. So I'm dropping the current database that it's in Liferay 6.2. I'm going to restore, as you can see here, with a SQL script. I'm restoring here the community edition of Liferay 6.1. So when this process finished, I will have again a version Liferay 6.1 community edition. I'm going to my bundle of the community edition, and I'm going to start up this version, and you will see that everything works as it works some 20 minutes ago with the community edition. if we have these backups, as I recommend you before, it's really easy to change from a version to another one. If we need to go to again to the 6.2 Enterprise Edition version, we only need to drop the database again and use the new use the backup that we have just made of the database, and we have this version running again, as in the same way that we are having the 6.1 version running now, because we have just restored the database and everything works properly. It's important also to restore the document library. As far as I'm using here different bundles, I don't need to restore the document library because I didn't delete it. But if we delete the document library in some of our steps, we will need to recover also the previous version, the version of the document library that works with Liferay 6.1 or with the version that we needed. So here here we are here again with the slides, but I think that everything is just finished. I don't know if you have any question. If you have any question, I can answer these questions right now, or if you have any question, or you notice that you have any question in some hours or some days or wherever, you can contact me with my contact info that I showed you before at Twitter at Ballesteros AM, or my email address with alberto.martinez@mimacom.com. So thank you very much for being here. I really hope that you enjoyed this webinar, and if you are thinking about a migration, don't forget your coffee, and it's not really hard work. It will depend a lot of our current portal. If it has lots of development, probably we will need a lot of time to do this kind of job. But if we are using out of the box library, the migration will be really easy. As I said before the demo, I'm not showing you here how to migrate your plugins, because it's just a matter of time and a matter of search your code, search what methods and what classes have changed with the new version, and then start fixing these problems. And I would also to remind you here that if you are only migrating from Liferay CE to EE, it's easier, because the API of Liferay is going to be the same. Probably it's going to be the same that the API you were using before, so your plugins are not changing, and you will not need to update your plugins or your custom development. You only need to create the packages for the new version, for the enterprise version, with the Liferay SDK uh, of this version, and you will be able to deploy the plugins, and everything will work as expected. So thank you very much. Thank you for being here, and thank you for everything. And as I said before, if you have any question, please don't hesitate to do it now, to contact me afterwards. Thank you very much.